Hello everyone, welcome to my tutorial. So let's talk about the Sdfs architecture. We already know that Sdfs is a Java-based distributed file system which actually holds a large data set and then process it. So in order to understand the architecture, let's draw a picture over here, and we are going to start with the NameNode, okay? And the NameNode is the main computer in this architecture, and sometimes we call that to be the master, okay? And then we are going to have what? We are going to have some network stuff, and we're calling that to be the switch 1. Okay, so these are the switches we are now talking about. These are the network switches. Switch 2. Now these switches are connected to the racks. So we are going to have few racks over here, and this is a rack, this is a rack, and this is another rack. So this is how we call it, the rack. And within the racks, we are going to have a collection of computers, or we are going to call that to be the nodes. So let's say we have a node 1 and 2 and up to n number of nodes. The same thing over here, and n1, n2, and n, okay? And we are calling that to be the data nodes. So we already know, or we already learned that we have a name node, we have data node, we have racks, and we have switches, okay? The architecture is called the master-slave architecture. And in this case, you can obviously understand that name node is the master node and the data node is the slave nodes, or the slave is the data node. Now you can see that over here, if something happens, let's say this switch is broken or this line is broken, so the whole number of data nodes from n1 to nn are missing, right? Like we are not going to be able to use that. So in order, in order to mitigate that issue, we are going to have another thing that is called the replication. So replication means a process that we have the data over here are copied also in some other places. Okay, so in case that this one is gone, at least this one is okay, or this one is okay, so data can be retrieved from either from here or from here. Now the data is saved over here. Okay, so let's say we are going to have like this, and over here like this, and like this. Okay. Okay, so these all things are being called as the blocks. Data blocks. Okay, so you can probably now understand that the data blocks are copied. So let's say I have over here the information D1. So the D1 is being copied over here as well, D1, and over here as well, D1. That means one chunk of data is being copied in other nodes. Okay, so the purpose of this is something we are calling that to be the redundancy. So the redundancy means, like, in the actual case, we do not need D1 and this one, right? Because we already have saved this one over here. But again, something is caused over here. This one is broken, so still we are going to retrieve the data from this rack or this rack. Okay, so we got actually familiarity with a few other things, such as like the data blocks and the redundancy.